Markets pushed higher today, but this wasn't everything moving together. This was a very specific move. Semiconductors completely took over the tape. AMD up almost 19%, Nvidia up close to 6%, Intel, Micron, Oracle, all strong. That's where the money went. But outside of that, things looked very different. Apple, although it moved, it wasn't that strong. Microsoft barely moved. Amazon was flat and Palantir still down. So right away, you've got a split. So let's start with what actually moved the market today, and then we'll go through the key names everyone's watching by later in the video. And if you find this useful, please consider subscribing. So first, this wasn't just about earnings. It started with oil. Yesterday, the market was dealing with geopolitical risk. Today, that started to ease, so oil dropped hard. And once that happened, risk came right back in. That shift alone helps push markets higher because uncertainty gets priced out fast. But the real move came from AMD. And this wasn't just a beat. This was kind of print that pulls the entire group with it. Confidence came back into semis, and once that happened, money didn't spread everywhere. It concentrated. And that's the key. This wasn't a broad rally. This was money going exactly where it wants to be. AI infrastructure, semis, names directly tied to demand. Now step back because this is where it actually matters. You've got one part of the market moving aggressively higher and another part just not keeping up. Apple green but not leading, Microsoft barely moving, Amazon not really participating, and then you've got Palantir still drifting lower even after earnings. And this is important because it shows you something simple. It's not just about results anymore, it's about expectations. And when expectations are high, even strong numbers don't move the stock. And that's exactly what you're seeing there. And then there's one more thing that doesn't fully line up. Gold. Gold kept pushing higher today. While stocks were strong, gold kept pushing higher. This is not a typical combination. So either gold is reacting to something else or the market hasn't fully aligned yet. Now, going into tomorrow, there are few things on the calendar that actually matter. You've got jobless claims in the morning. That's your first real read on the labor side this week. And alongside that, job cuts data, which the market is watching closely after yesterday's strong ADP number. Then before the open, McDonald's reports, and that's not really about the stock, it's about the consumer, especially lower income spending. And then after the close, ARM reports. And that one matters more than the bigger picture because it feeds right back into the AI infrastructure story, which is what moved the market today. So going into tomorrow, a few things matter. First, does the momentum in semis continue, or was today the move? Second, does money stay concentrated or start spreading back into rest of the tech? And third, how the market reacts to those catalysts, not just the numbers themselves. So because right now the market is strong, but it's also very, very selective. So that's the recap for the market from the market today. Why don't we go ahead and look at some individual tickers together? Starting with MU first. And MU, what a great stock. It absolutely just has been on a tear. And one thing MU did today that normally it doesn't do much, especially when it starts moving, is that it gave us a cleaner pullback to either add to your position or really, I mean, if you haven't traded it yet, gave you an opportunity to enter for the first time. Because if you look at all these like daily candles here, you know, they gap up and then they just keep ripping higher. They gap up and they just keep ripping higher. But today it gapped up but it gave you that pullback right back into the $628 area of accumulation zone MU has been forming. And it was a beautiful, beautiful opportunity for MU to go long around $628. And right now, it is trying to break that descending trend line here, but we'll see what kind of price action we get in the morning tomorrow, because some key economic data is coming out tomorrow, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what sort of impact that has on these semiconductor names. But beautiful pullback on MU, and this is what I was waiting, and we finally got it. So that was just absolutely amazing. But yeah, things like this on MU, it doesn't happen much. Moving along, let's look at Oracle. Oracle has been just absolutely amazing. We have been looking at this stock since it broke the $172 support area. And ever since it held and it traded above that area, it had just continued to push even higher and higher and higher. So right now, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 consecutive green days on the name. Right now, it would be nice if we get any sort of pullback, back into $184 area is a very good buyable opportunity on Oracle. I think as long as the Oracle is trading above, at this point, above $180, the momentum is really, really strong. So what I'm watching on Oracle is, can we get a pull back right into $184 tomorrow? Or does this just continue ripping higher? If this does continue ripping higher tomorrow, look out for that target of $207. But if it does continue ripping higher, it just the risk to reward just is not the best, because at this point some sort of consolidation would be ideal. But whether that happens or not, that's not something in our hands. So we'll just trade the price action. So we'll see what happens. But it's good to see that Oracle is trading above $184. That is absolutely amazing. So right now in after hours is actually trading above $192. So let's see if $192, does that become new support for a final push up towards 207? We'll have to see about that tomorrow. But either 192 becomes support for a push higher, or we get a pull back into 184. Both possibilities are still on the table. Moving along, Amazon. Amazon just has been, I would say, weak, one of the weaker names, as I mentioned at the start of this video. Amazon is just not able to trade above $274, and we have been talking about it since last week. It just, every time it attempts to break above 274, heavy bids are sitting there, and then it just gets pushed right back into it. So the key level on Amazon is that we will continue watching for the rest of the week, tomorrow or whenever. Does Amazon break above 274? Does it actually close above it? And can it actually hold that momentum and get higher? Right now, I don't have much confidence in Amazon. But the thing is, it needs to be trading above this critical level, and there has to be some momentum. Right now, Amazon is just trading sideways. That is not a stock we like to trade. So it's just on a watch. We're just watching the price levels, but we're not obviously taking a trade on it, because it is just stuck. It's just going sideways. It's not really doing much. Either we get a deeper pullback into 264, then that becomes a buyable opportunity, or we get a break above 274 and it holds for a push higher. So that's something that we'll have to see. But it is just going sideways, so it is a pass right now. Moving on, Palantir. Palantir, we have been talking about it as well. Palantir opened below that $134 that I talked about yesterday. So Palantir, yes, looking bearish. 100% looking bearish, but this kind of candle that we had a closure here, very that's indecision candle. So buyers and sellers, really at this point of time, there's a lot of confusion with what the price should do. So Palantir is just on a close watch, but it did open underneath $134, so it is looking bearish. So as long as Palantir stays below $134, there is an opportunity to short it towards 126. But the price action we saw today, it wasn't really conclusive. So we'll have to just keep a close eye on Palantir. And for any bearish momentum to the downside, it must be trading below $134. So we'll keep a close eye on that. Moving along, Tesla. Now, Tesla, we have been talking about it. And I spoke about this descending trend line that Tesla has been trying to break above. So it tested once, twice, third time, and then today, fourth time. So Tesla is just trying so hard to get above the $400. Every time it goes through the 400, it just bids are just stacking up, pushing the stock lower every single time. But look, I mean, yesterday it sold off, right? And the level that we had on the chart, 385, that held support. So that was a very positive sign on Tesla for it to hold that 385, because as long as Tesla is trading above 385, there's a very high possibility that Tesla eventually breaks out of this descending trend line and it goes to even higher. It perhaps even pushes towards 425. And right now, Tesla is trying its hardest to break this. And I want to show you something here. So like this is obviously the daily candles, but if I show you on a weekly chart, it is actually flagging. This is actually flagging. So the more it sticks around here, the more Tesla stays here, the price. And then when it eventually breaks, this is going to be a very powerful breakout. 425 would be the first target, but this could actually even go higher. But when that happens, we'll adjust the targets. But right now, 425 is still a top watch. But for that to happen, Tesla needs to be trading above 385, which it is. So that's a good thing. And then tomorrow, Tesla needs to trade up, like make sure that it's holding support at 394 and then makes another attempt at pushing towards $400. That will be something I will be personally watching. Tesla will be a top watch for tomorrow and for the rest of the week until it resolves. So good thing happening right now on Tesla. 385 held support, and let's see if it can trade above 394 tomorrow and then go for an attempt at breaking 400 and hopefully finally breaks 400. But if it doesn't, then we'll just have to give Tesla more time. But the macro environment matters a lot, because the economic data that's coming out, if it's all positive, then it's going to help. It's going to fuel that into Tesla. But if the data is not good and we get some sort of reaction, then that could also mean that we get some pullbacks on some of the names that I'm talking about. But even if we get pullbacks, 385 Tesla, it has to be trading above that. That is, for me, I think it's a line in the sand. As long as we're trading above 385, we're good. And I want to also show you one more thing here. On the hourly chart, it is actually forming an inverse head and shoulder pattern. Or you could also call it a cup and handle. But the way I see it, you got your head, shoulder, shoulder. So as long as Tesla is trading, like as long as Tesla breaks this descending trend line, there's definitely upside on the name. Moving along, Meta. Meta, again, is not doing anything. It's just trading sideways. So we're going to just leave it at that. In order for us to pay any close attention to Meta, it has to either break to the upside to 623 or break to the downside 592. Right now, there's a lot of weakness in the name, but we'll just keep a close eye on it. Right now, just trading sideways, so there's no trade on it. Moving along, Nvidia. What an amazing move on the name. Remember, we have been talking about that 197 being a critical area on the name. And good to see today it actually eventually got away from it. So the first area of resistance on the name was $203. It easily broke through that. And the next area of resistance, which it almost closed at that price, is $207.50. So $207.50. So we are watching this name again for the past almost like over a week. This was just not doing anything, just trading along 197, and that's good that we got this move. This is really good for the AI scene. So I'm happy to see this move, because if this wouldn't happen, then I'm afraid like a day like today where the semiconductors were so strong, and for Nvidia not to have some sort of momentum, and this is partially driven by news, But again, like for Nvidia not to participate, that's not a good sign. So it was good to see. It was very refreshing to see that Nvidia finally moved. And now this will be a close watch. What we want to see heading to tomorrow is, does the 207.50, does that become a new support? Because if Nvidia comes right back, then the first test on the name is going to be 203. As long as the Nvidia is trading above 203, then the momentum is still alive. For maximum momentum, 207.50, that's where it will be the most bullish. So we'll see if we get some sort of momentum for a push higher back into 212, which is a triple top, which is also all-time high in that area. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But for that to happen, Nvidia needs to be trading above 207.50 for a strong continuation move up. But if we do get a pullback, watch 203. 203 if holds and it starts trading around 203, then that is also a very positive sign. So no trades on Nvidia, but we're watching closely heading into tomorrow. Microsoft, again, is just not doing anything right now, but I'm going to show you what quietly Microsoft has been doing in the background. So if I show you the weekly chart, just like Tesla, it is forming that flag right now. It's forming that flag. And as long as it keeps trading around $413, that is very positive sign for a bullish momentum on the name, right? That is a very positive sign. So really the first test of a strong bullish momentum on Microsoft would be it needs to be trading above $422. It has shown for over a week that it held that $413. It is hugging that area. It's been holding on to it. So that shows that buyers are stepping in every time Microsoft has been trading around $413. That is a very positive sign. For further upside, we need to see it trading above 422. If it can trade above 422, look out for move higher and the break off that flag. So close watch, no trades again, no trades on it. We will be paying very close attention when it gets to 422. But for now, it's just on a very close watch. Moving along, Google. So Google eventually, I've been talking about Google here as well. So I mean, Google tried to break the $383 resistance area for the past few days. Every time it goes there to break it, it comes right back. Every time it goes there, it comes right back. But yesterday, after hours, it finally broke through it, and we talked about this. So today, it actually continued with the momentum, right? It actually continued with the momentum. So Google has finally broken out of that strong resistance at $383.50. So the good thing for now for Google would be, can we see some further upside, further continuation move? But today was a very textbook setup on Google where it opens and tests the previous day's high. It tests previous day's high, it held support, and then it eventually broke that descending trend line, and now it's trading higher. So this would have been a perfect textbook trade if somebody would have taken this. This was really nice, and there's still momentum in the name. So we'll see if this actually continues going higher. If for whatever reason this pulls back, watch out for $383.50. That has to be the new support if it does pull back into those areas. So just watch out for that. But right now we're looking for upside, we're looking for momentum, and let's just see what happens with Google. Moving along, Apple. Apple is slowly creeping up to its all-time high, sitting at $289. So Apple it managed to close above 287, which was its first test of strong resistance at Apple at 287. It managed to close just a hair above that. So heading into tomorrow, so we'll have to see if that momentum actually continues and we get an all-time breakout all-time high breakout on Apple. So Apple, we have been trading, we have been talking about it since this earnings gap up. We have been talking about the importance of $275 support, then the 280 support, and now finally we're talking about, can we get that final push to get that breakout on Apple? If we get any meaningful pullback on Apple, as long as Apple is trading above 280, we're still good. We're still in a bullish momentum. So 280, as long as we're above that, we're good. But we'll see tomorrow, does it break 289? Apple would be my top watch heading into tomorrow for sure. Moving along, Intel. And I want to show you something about Intel. If you have seen my yesterday's video, I talked about this day here. Let me just, sorry. Let me just, yep. So I talked about this day yesterday where Intel essentially opened up above $100.50. This is the area we have been talking about in the past as well. How it opened above $100.50 and it just ripped without giving any possible entry to go long on the name. Like if somebody bought it like down here, then yeah, you're holding as a swing position, then you're fine. But as a day trade, if we wanted to get in as a brand new entry, that break of $100.50, it happened so quickly that we never got a pullback. And yesterday I said, well, we didn't get a move, we didn't get a pullback. That's how it goes. You're not sometimes gonna get it. You could chase it over here on this flag, on this pullback, but that would be very aggressive entry because we don't know it's going to continue going higher. Nobody knows, right? So we don't want to be buying into these pushes and not knowing how far it will go, or would it just come back down. So just the risk wise is just too much risk. So we let it go. But look what happened today. So this base, it was all accumulation base for the further move up. I'm gonna just leave here. Okay, this base, right? This was that day yesterday. This was an accumulation base on Intel, absolutely critical. And look what happened today. The pullback, we were hoping we would get it here. We finally got it here, and it goes right back into the accumulation. That was the pullback I was waiting for. And this was the name we traded, Intel, on a very clean setup with a very manageable risk reward setup. It was absolutely textbook. It gapped up, pulled back into this zone, which was also pretty close to the previous day's high. And then look, after that, it held above previous day's high all day. And now it started to move higher a little bit in after hours. But we'll see tomorrow what happens. But yeah, this was a textbook trade on a low risk entry model, but beautiful Intel. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. But at this point of time, we're just looking for a continuation play on Intel. If you're not in this trade here, then there's no entry at this point of time. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. Moving along, AMD, what an amazing gap up on this name. I mean, AMD was the main name that lifted everything with it. So key area for AMD to watch out for is the $400. Can AMD keep trading above $400? As long as AMD is trading above $400, this is a long. Any dips is a buyable opportunity. So watch out for the 400, and we want to see it hold. And as long as it's trading above 403, I think the name has pretty good momentum. But we'll see what happens with the economic data that's coming out tomorrow. But this would be the line in sand for it to hold. So I hope that you liked all the names that I covered. If there's any name you would like me to cover, just please make sure you just mention that in the comments. I would love to go over some of those names. If you have watched it till now, I hope you liked the content. And if you did, please consider subscribing. I'll see you tomorrow in the next one. Take care. Bye.